a lot of people say, oh, no, you just place your trade and you place your stop. There you go. That's it. That's everything. You've done all the work. Yeah, I don't think so. First of all, the placement of a stop in a very high volatility market like we have now, there has to be an adjustment made for that volatility. So, right, because you're going to, the gain side is going to go up substantially because of the volatility, but so is the static dollar risk side. And I make that distinction because many people don't think when they're told something and they don't think it through. So people tell you your risk is $6. No, your risk isn't $6. Your risk is that you might be wrong. That's your risk. $6 is what you would lose if your risk of being wrong actually occurs. So the real risk is the risk of being wrong, not $6. But having said that, if the market gives you higher volatility, your static risk has to go up in some cases, in many cases, and your gains would go up as well. And you have to have a plan for that, right? I mean, if volatility is really big, do you have a plan for that? That how much you're going to change your stop and so on. But in some cases, the market might have moved up, pulled back, and let's say that I'm long like right from here. Okay, let's just say, and this is not going to be fun. This is a thing that I've worked out in advance. And the market may have gone up some and I might have booked some gain, but suddenly the market does this. And now I'm potentially in trouble because the trade hasn't done, maybe I think it's supposed to go to here. Okay, and suddenly this happens. So I have a plan laid out in advance for what happens if something like this happens. And of course, this is a, this in various ways would happen either in a downtrend or an uptrend, and I have to have a plan for that. One of the things that I do when I have this problem is, and the books say don't add to a losing position, and they don't really define that very well, because to me, it's probably not a good idea to add to a losing position, but I do it all the time, but I'm not adding to a losing position in the way that most books mean it. So let me show you what that means. Let's say I'm stuck in a position with one half of my position left from here. This is my long entry right here. I've booked some right here. Let's say I'm pretty good and I got that. Now I'm way down here. Like, what the hell is going on here? Suddenly, I get a new indication for a completely independent trade. And that trade would be the market's here now, and it should go right to here. So if I add to my position, am I adding to a losing position, or am I taking a new trade inside the existing position? And to me, I'm taking a new trade from here, not referencing the existing trade. I'm not saying I'm going long here to average this and this down to try to get out at a break even. I may do that if that's what I want to do. But in most cases, what I'm doing is a whole new trade comes up and I know I can get long here and the market's going to run to here. And if that happens, I exit that position. And now maybe let's just say that's 10 points. Now I've corrected my position by 10 points. I've added 10 points to the bank, so to speak, to get out of a position that surprised me. Now, if I still believe the market ultimately is going to go higher and that this is just a thing, I still will hold and maybe even buy again to add to my position again, to be back up to 2 contracts or whatever the unit is, to be long and so on. There's a bunch of things that I've laid out that I know in advance that I'm going to do if certain things happen. Have you done that? You should do that, particularly if you're trading with more than one contract. And if you aren't trading with more than one contract, you should be at some point, because you can't, unless you're really highly skilled, can't make much good of this by constantly getting out with a very small initial gain for every trade, and that's your whole trade.